part two. For those that know me, I'm Ranthro Rook. Diamond of Divinity. Let me bring my microphone up. Diamond of Divinity is my other personal group page on Facebook, of course. So I've done part one and deciding whether I should post it. I'll think about it. But part two. So the first series I did, the first recording, spoke about, just briefly, the UFO extraterrestrial. I like to call them star people because I find that star people's a little nicer. A lot of the extraterrestrial, UFO, etc. Title has a little bit of a negative persona about it through media, movies, belief systems. So, first part was more to do with some of the really unusual experiences I had when I was younger, that I didn't know or understand what they were, to do with extraterrestrial contact or experiences of. So, Beyond the Stars, it is a UFO podcast that I usually have guests on, or people that have had either UFO, extraterrestrial, etc., visitation, contact, ships, physical beings, information channeling, things a bit like Bashar, those that may even be a speaker channel for those off-world extraterrestrials. And it gives them a platform to share their experiences honestly and openly without judgment. And it gives them a chance to show the world and show others they're not alone, and that they, through their own experiences, are proof that this is real. So there's been a lot of people, excuse me, I don't do my lippy very often, I was in a hurry. There's a lot of people that have had some negative experiences ongoing, and a lot of people have beautiful positive experiences ongoing. And they've had many things that are very real. Some stuff they experience is physical in its form, so it can be a vessel, a being, even just an image contact in a way, or witnessing something either on their own with someone else, or as a mass sighting idea where many people see something physical in the sky, or a vessel, or whatever it may be, or light. And it's been increasing over the last few years, I've noticed, of those people that are more open to the idea and more accepting that this is real and possible. And I think the introduction of a internet type service, so, has allowed people to show more proof that it's possible and it's real, because now we have the technology, right? Where before it was all a word of mouth or the news. And unfortunately that can be misconstrued, and not always the truth comes out of that. So my idea was to start this so that people can come and openly share whatever it is that they have seen or experienced, whether it's physical, holographic, telepathy, some sort of contact similar in that way, or just something that they know they've experienced, but they don't really understand it or can't put a finger on what that might be, but they know something happened. But it's also a podcast for people that are either spiritual or non-spiritual that want to share their story, or share how, if you are spiritually minded or in that belief system, that you can openly perhaps even share your journey of how you got to where you are, how you got your abilities, what did you go through to get that, on a personal level or surface level, depending on what you want to share. Not everyone wants people to know their business. Not everyone wants to share certain things because it's not easy to put yourself out, whether it's for extraterrestrial UFO reasons or spiritual reasons, to share your journey with others without judgment. So a lot of people are afraid to openly speak or to share their stories because they're worried about ridicule, or, let's be honest, in the system that we've got, this lovely technology, there's a lot of bias, and there's also a lot of ridicule where people are quite nasty when people openly share their hearts and their space. So that's not allowed on here. Anyone like that, I can promise anybody that they will get shoved off pretty fast. Martha's pretty strong-minded and pretty strong-willed, and she sets boundaries very, very strongly. So anyone who's interested, who would like to come and express and share their extraterrestrial, UFO, or spiritual, etc. experiences, you're welcome to do so. You can message me on Facebook Messenger. That's probably the easiest way to catch me. I generally reply within a day or two, and just give me a very brief idea of who you are, very quickly, what you've experienced. Because I will screen everyone, as you hear me say on every podcast. You will be screened to make sure that who are you? I don't want anyone coming on that will really upset anybody, or their story may be a bit questionable or a little bit too strange. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of experiences that people have are real, and some people it's not real. Okay, let's just be honest. So I have to be careful about who I interview and who I bring through, and that's just the way it is. I'm not even going to apologise for that. I'm here to protect others, not allow the things to run wild. So part two for me is I wanted to share. Like I said, the first part was what the crap was that? That's what I probably should have called the first podcast. What the crap was that, Marantha? Because I was too young to understand what the process was. I was not as awake as I am now. I've been at this, for those that know my age, I'm nearly 60, so I've been at this for 30 years or longer. But before that, I knew I was different. I just didn't understand what different meant. I didn't know I was having strange experiences and physical experiences with things off world and whatever. Didn't understand that. I was not in an environment that was open to that. I was brought up Catholic, not a practicing per se, but that was the system that I was run through. And so I was afraid to share, and I was afraid to be me. I just knew there was something different about me. For those that would have watched the first video, hopefully, if not, doesn't matter, you don't have to. My upbringing was, I knew I was different. I could feel things. I could hear people. I could hear their thoughts. I could feel their feelings. I could read and see scenarios and an idea of what was coming, but I just didn't know what that was. I just assumed either everyone can do it, or what is that? I don't know. I don't care. Like it was a bit much. So I locked myself off, and I just went, don't know, don't want to know. So I just went about my life. So I'm a very introverted, hermit-like person. So the reason I've had to be like that most of my life is to protect my own energy, because I'm so hypersensitive. I don't have any problem per se going anywhere. Some people can't even go, some people have trouble just go shopping and things like that. They're so hypersensitive. I am that hypersensitive. I am that awake, but I don't have that problem. I can pretty much handle most things. The only thing I don't handle well energetically is like normal physical places. So you wouldn't catch me going to a party, and you wouldn't catch me going to normal group environments, mainly because I get bored. My mind is a channel. I'm a channel, for those that don't know. I'm a universal channel. So my gift, I traverse the universe, can do many things. I do readings, I do healings, I channel information, I talk to people's teams, I talk to extraterrestrials, I do it all. And a person like that, unless you're sort of around your own kind who know what that is, it's boring for me, because I'm not going to sit. I'm not the person to sit around and talk about the weather, or talk about mundane things. What happens for me is that I will vague off, and I'll channel. I'll start going out into the universe and seeing things, and I can't say. So I have the natural ability. I'm very good at spiritual psychology. I'm very good at. I'm not trained. All right. I'm a natural. I'm very good at reading people, reading information, bringing in things that are unknown that people may not have heard of before, channeling information. I do a lot of mission work. I am connected to many races. I have been Lyran. I have a Palladian connection. I have an angelic, celestial. In fact, I'm in all dimensions and all universal constructs. To be honest, I'm everywhere. So I'm a very old soul. I've been here a long time, so I'm a little different to the norm. And I just found, because of that I didn't really fit into everyday society. I didn't know where to put myself, and I didn't understand why other people weren't having these experiences, because it wasn't really spoken about in my era. People were aware of it, but it was foo-fooed a bit, where if you saw a UFO or you experienced this, that there was something wrong with you. That bullshit. That was the bullshit thing, the bullshit era. And there was things that went on back then that were quite obvious, but but we didn't have the technology, so it wasn't widely known as much as it is now. So I've lived a very quiet life, my choice, and I find from that I've grown and evolved to where I am today. So I wanted to come on and give the quick idea of who I am, and then, but I wanted to share with you the next stage of my evolution to do with contact. I'm definitely a contactee. There's no doubt about it. I won't go into too many personal things with other people because I don't have their permission, but I do. I'm very close to someone who has also been a contactee. So, and that person is an empath. They are a healer. Not now; they're retired, but they themselves have had experiences, at least we think 2 or 3, but definitely 2 that are unexplained that they haven't spoken about. So that's why I can't share that part, out of respect for them. But so between the people around me, my friends, and the people that I'm in contact with, they've all had very similar experiences. They themselves are channels, universal channels. They're very gifted, so they understand where I'm coming from. Um, and they too have had the similar stuff. So they've had physical experiences. They've had telepathy. They've heard them communicate, um, and they also channel like I do. So I'm lucky now that I have the right environment that I can come out and share. Before that, I wasn't willing to because I wasn't sure of how it was going to be taken, and I just wasn't ready. Basically, I've been busy been busy helping other people. I work a lot. I, I do a lot of private work. So if you want to come and see me, all you can do is Facebook message me. I'll give you a booking link. You can come and see me. And I am a natural. I have not read books. I don't read books. I didn't do a lot of stuff over the years of any sort to make this contact happen. The last 12 months, I have done some training, and that was to evolve me consciously, to open me up, um, to pretty much put me in a place where I felt safe and believed in myself a bit more. So that helped me grow, and that's full embodiment with David Starr. We are currently, I'm a facilitator for Full Embodiment 3 Australia as of this year. So if you want to know what that is, go onto my page. The information is there. You're more than welcome to come and see me. So what's happened for me over the years, but mostly I would say the biggest change for me and the biggest contact that started would be at least the last 3 years or 3.5. Before that, I've had a lot of things happen, but I would say the physical contact, the real stuff, the real contact. Before that, I was doing a lot of, well, they were making contact, and I was having experiences, and I was channeling them. So I was doing the work with them. So in part of my work with others and helping others, I'm channeling anyway. But this is more physical. So what started for me is that I was introduced to, not introduced personally, but introduced to someone called Stephen Greer. Most people know him. He's a UFO guy, and I don't know him. I really don't know much about him, to be honest. I know he does some UFO stuff and talks about a lot of different rabbit holes and things like that. Um, but I haven't really followed him. I still haven't. I haven't really gone into that. I don't really follow people. I'm not a follower. I'm not that type of person. I see things, I witness other people's works, and I either like it or I don't. Either resonates or it doesn't. Same as anything with me. I say to people, either resonates or it doesn't. Take it or leave it. I'm not offended. Um, but his name came up, and I'm like, "Well, who was he?" And they explained to me that he was the UFO guy, and I'm like, "Okay, well, he's always been doing this for most of his life." Well, he had a little, some sort of little meditation thing, to help make connection properly with UFOs and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay." Don't know. Um, so he had a system of how to send out and let them know that you're interested, and how to make contact properly so that you don't get, infiltrated. You don't get the ones you don't want and things like that. You don't get hurt. So I thought, well, I'll give that a go. It was only like 2 minutes of something, and I was just watching something. I think it was on YouTube or whatever it was. And he had this little segment where he talked about this is how he tells people to make contact and all that sort of stuff. And I thought, oh, well, I'll give that a go. Not thinking much of it. And I'm like, well, I already do make contact, but I'm open to try something new. What the heck? So I did that. Excuse me. I've got the air on, so it's blowing air on my face. So I did that, and I went outside. I went up with my little doggies. Beautiful clear night, actually. It was a really beautiful night. I think it was winter, actually, because I remember being cold, so it wasn't summer. I'm in Australia in the tropics, so trust me, you'll know the difference when it's not hot. So it was like I went outside. I think I'd spoken to someone I'd known. We were talking about that sort of stuff, and I went, "I'm gonna go out and just play muck about." When I take the dogs out. I've got 2 little chihuahuas. So I took them out and they yap yap and have a look at the moon and have a look at the stars and see if I can see any planets and just mucking around. Not really, I wasn't even thinking of anything else really. And then his name came into my head and I went, "Oh yeah, that Richard, what's his name? Greer or some bloody thing. Stephen, sorry. Duh. Off in the other world. Stephen. Um, Stephen Greer. I'll get it right. And he came into my mind. I thought, "Bugger it, I'm out here. I'll give it a go." So I opened my heart, I opened my mind, and I sent that out and sent it right out as far as I could in my knowing state of what I know, how far you can go, because 'cause I'm a channel, so I see everything. So I just keep sending it, and I thought, "Well, we'll see where that goes. What the heck? You never know, I might have an experience." Now before that, I was having them coming into my home. So I'd had a lot of holographic and the odd physical experience of them coming into my room, at nighttime waking me, walking through. I'd had them quite solid here and there, not very often, where they stand at the side of the bed and I can pretty much reach out and touch them like I'm looking at myself. They're so real. So I'd already had a lot of that anyway, a lot of those sort of experiences. So it wasn't new to me. And I knew that because of that, I could handle it. With a lot of people in their first experience of extraterrestrial contact, they get a little bit of fear comes in because they don't know what the heck's going on, and they're not sure of who is here. You know what I mean? So you can understand that fear, but I didn't have that because of the work I do. So I was already in contact. I was already channeling. I was already having them come in ships. I would see them afar, not so much physically, but I'd see them entering the universe itself, the construct. They'd come through, and then they'd send a holographic message, or they'd walk in. And my first contact was beings called Pleiadians. They were the very first, because I have a family of light connection to their part of the councils, etc., etc. So they were the first that came, and I had lucky for me, I had enough people around me at that time who would like me that supported that. So I knew I wasn't making it up. I knew it was really happening because there was times it was when I was awake. You know, I was just having a dream state. I'd go, "I'm just dreaming, I'm just making it up. It's just rubbish." But I was having it in an awakened state, and things like that. So I knew something was going on, and they were actually waking me. They were waking me at certain times of the night and to let me know they were just here, that's all. And then they'd have a little conversation, and then they started sharing with me more about who I am, why I'm here, what my mission is, what my work will be, how I can help others. I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." So I'd already had those experiences. I was very lucky. So it wasn't new for me. But this night, when I went outside and stood there and went, "Oh, okay, send a beam, let's just do it. Let's see if it's real, if it's possible for them to turn up." And so I sent out the love and I let them know that I am ready to go further with my contact. I want to know more. And didn't know whether it was even going to happen, to be honest. I'm pretty laid back in that way. So I'm just like, well, it'll happen, it won't happen. I'm not going to stand here and make it up and create bullshit because I'm a bit of a realist. I'm a very much of a truth speaker. So if I'm telling you something, even if it's in my work, if I'm channeling or doing a reading for you, it's fact, it's real. I'm not going to fluff it up. I'm not going to create something just to be special or liked or part of the organisation. Um, so if I'm seeing it, it's real because I can't be like that. I'm not made that way. I can't make a fool of myself. You know what I mean? I just can't do that. So I made that clear that the contact had to be real, had to be physical, and I was ready. Thought nothing of it. So it was about a week or two after. It was pretty quick. I went out again and I took the dogs out like I always do at that time of night. So it was about 8:39, I think, that time of night. That's usually I'm out there anyway. And I was talking to the dogs and I had my back to one side of the house. And where I live right on the ocean. and out to behind me where I'm here at the moment looking forward, out there is some little hills, there's water, there's ocean everywhere, we have islands and things like that. I'm in Queensland, and so we've got a marina and a harbour out there. And usually I'm looking out that way, or I'm looking out here or out the back, depending. And this night I was standing in a different way, and I was looking out to an area that's known as Arcturus. For those that don't know, it's a star system that's out there. And I was like, oh, look, there's Arcturus, how pretty. And as I thought that, I was just turned my body really slightly, like only a few millimeters. And you know how something catches your eye and you're like, I swear I'm seeing something. And you'll turn and check. Well, it was a bit like that. So I was standing to the side, and this bright light, and I'm talking, it was huge, big bright light. And I thought, what the heck is that? I went, oh, you silly bugger, it's a street light. You're just seeing a street light behind you. I went, no, the street light's not behind me, it's in front of me. Oh, yeah. So as I went, oh, yeah, this is all a millisecond, I turned my body a little bit to look. And from the distance, this mass light, it was so bright, it was piercing. So in that moment, I thought to myself, not a helicopter, nah, too big, too bright. Not a plane, nope, they don't fly that low, they don't fly that direction. They only fly certain directions over here for our house, okay? And it was coming from a long way away, and from the distance I picked it up. I saw it in the corner of my eye, it flashed. That's what made me turn around. And I saw this mass light, like it was piercing light. Like there's light that can hurt your eyes when you look at it, and there's a piercing light that goes brighter than that. And it was coming from over the ocean out to the other side of the islands, and it was coming over the coast. And I was like, might be a meteor. I went, well, I hope it's not a meteor, because that's a bit big to be a meteor. And I remember the one that went off in overseas, I think it was Russia, wherever it was. I remember the size of that, and the impact and the explosion and the reverberation it caused, that smashed all the windows and disrupted buildings and put off car alarms and all that sort of jazz. And I'm like, well, I hope it's not, because that's rather big, and I don't really want to be standing out here for that and have that experience. So I was a little bit like, oops, what the heck is that? So as it was coming, so like I said, it was coming from such a long way. This gave me enough time to see all this. So it wasn't like straight away, like, shoom, gone. It was coming, and I was like, And as it got nearer and nearer to here, so over where I live, and coming towards where I was standing, it was very, very low in the sky. And I was like, how low is that? Meteors don't go that low, do they? Maybe they do. I don't know. And so it crossed right above me. Now, it was low. It was so bright and big. It was huge. But it didn't show any shadow. It didn't glow. So it didn't have, when you see a meteor, it has this massive glow about it all the way around it. And then quite often it'll have a tail or a debris. And it's obvious that it's a meteor. Like I've seen, I've been up for all the meteor showers and that over the years. So I've got an idea of a little bit what they look like. And it flew straight over the top of me. And I just looked up and went, excuse my language, what the fuck is that? And I watched it, and as it come over me, it went straight out towards where I was looking, funny enough. Arcturus star system at that time of year was out here, this way. So it was kind of northerly with a tiny direction to the east. So it was kind of barely northeast. And I watched it, and it was like every hair on my body stood up. I felt it through my body like electricity. Now, that could have been the cortisols. I could have heightened and gone into a heightened state out of excitement, for sure, absolutely. I know what that feels like. I've had an anxiety disorder. I've had PTSD. I've had all that stuff, So I know the difference of the body, what the body will react to. So I assumed I was in a heightened state at that time. But what happened for me is I felt like time stood still, because I'm like, if that thing's come over that fast, why am I still seeing it? It should have been long gone by now. But time had stood still. So I was like, wherever this thing was, above me. I was with it. And I was like, why does it seem like that should have been gone by now? And it shot over and it ended up, I said, right near the Arcturus system. So I obviously got a message they were coming because I was already looking at that system. So it could have been Arcturians or something like that, some sort of ship. And as it got to the star system near there, it just went just past the Arcturus system, well, hard to tell from here, but that's what it looked like to me. Just past that system, only slightly. I saw it increase its light. Now, it didn't do what a meteor didn't explode and like the light went out. So meteors, when they hit the atmosphere, they quite often, as you saw, will explode, which then can cause a reverberation. Get that fancy word out. And something that size, that big coming in the atmosphere, that low, we would have felt that. That would have had a what is it called? A sonic boom or something with it. There had to be something like that. And I'll tell you why I know it's not a meteor soon, because I thought it might have been. And the light increased, so it got brighter, which is a bit like a meteor, but it got bright, but it didn't explode. The brightness just was stationary. I'm like, that stopped. No, it can't. And this thing had stopped stationary. And as the light increased, I could see like something going on around it, but it was so bright I couldn't figure out what it was. I just saw movement. And then I'm not kidding, I'm not crazy, this is honest. This doorway, like energy of a doorway of some sort, looked like it opened. But I wasn't sure if that's what I was seeing because it was so much going on. My mind was just not sure where to put it all. But it looked like the universe opened up and you could see it go through. And as it went through, you could see it disappear as each part of the light disappeared, and then it was gone. And I had energy coming from the ground, like someone had turned on, put my fingers into a power socket and electrified me, come up my feet and through my whole body. So they sent a signal or something to say, hi, by the way. And I stood there. I was stunned. I was, as they say in Australia, a stunned mullet. I stood there as a stunned mullet, and I just went, I looked up again. I went, what the fuck is happening? And I didn't know what to think, and I couldn't move because I was shocked. And I wasn't afraid. I just had so much energy run through my body that I literally couldn't move for a bit. I had to wait for my energy to settle down so I could walk. I was like so alive. And I felt like I was sort of pinned in that spot. Now, did I go anywhere? The way it came through and that time seemed to slow down, it felt to me like it had slowed right down. Possible. I may have gone somewhere. I do not know. I do not remember. Other people have asked me, they're going, well, what you're saying, it sounds like you may have gone somewhere. I'm like, possible. Because I have gone onto ships before. I've had experiences where I've gone onto extraterrestrial ships. I've walked around. I've seen Syrian ships. I've been on there. I've been on the Galactic Federation ships and things like that years ago. Someone took us through and showed us how to do that. I've done that. So I'd experienced stuff like that before, but this time I don't have any memory of it. So it either did or it didn't happen. Can't say. Probably didn't happen, but it may have. So, and I've not gone back and scanned a look because I didn't feel I needed to. I just was happy for the experience. And so, of course, I dialed a friend. You won't believe what just happened to me. And told my group that I was a part of as well. And I said, I don't know what just happened to me. And I'm like, $100, that's a UFO because of how it behaved and what it did. And so I sat on it for a while. I didn't speak of it to anyone else, only the couple of people I trusted. And I then put a little bit of something up, and I posted something. This is quite a while ago. And a lady, I can't remember who she was, and I can't remember who the other person was, but a young lady messaged me, and she said, I've read what happened to you. And she said, you should contact, I think it was her father or something. He is a UFO expert, but he's also a meteorologist. He's like, he's into all that stuff. So he's someone who's in that field and he's an expert. Oh, okay, in Australia somewhere. Wish I remember his name. Sorry about that. And he will tell you if that was a UFO or a meteor that night. And the reason he can tell you is that he has the equipment and the technology to go to check things like the NASA sites and things like that. He has that access because of what he does for a living. She said, he can find out for you. I'll find out for you if you want to. And I said, yeah, that'll be nice because I don't know him. Whether there was a registered meteor shower or any activity or anything like that that can be explained as it's just this. It's just a meteor. It's just something passing through the atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. Because they said they register everything. So I said, yeah, that'll be nice because I'd like to know if this is real. And she got back to me pretty much straight away that evening and said to me, tell that lady that she experienced a UFO. So what she thought she saw was correct. And I said, well, did he check? She said, yes, he checked. There was no record of anything over where I am, longitude, latitude, etc., that evening. And he also said the way that she's described her experience, they don't behave like that. Something of that size that comes through the atmosphere is quite rare, so we don't see them very often, which is true. So the one in Russia, that's quite rare. And also the way it behaved and how she what she saw and what she explained that she saw, meteors don't go that low. That was really low. Like I thought it was helicopter, that's how low. And also they would have a trail. There would be some debris that would register for something that size, and there would be an effect after. So you'd feel the impact of some sort. And he said, by what she's described, it was not a meteor. And he said, I have checked the websites and there's no registered longitude, latitude, something or whatever that came through that area that night where she is. So then I kind of got, funny how you meet people, but I got backup. I got, it's funny, someone coming straight away to back up my story, which doesn't happen very often, you know what I mean? That doesn't happen a lot. You don't always get someone to say, by the way, your experience was real. And he said, tell her congratulations, because he said there has been quite a bit of UFO activity in Australia around where she is. And there's been a lot that has come up and followed the Queensland ranges, so the mountain ranges from down south. And they seem to be following through around where she is a trajectory of some sort. He said there's been a few sightings. She's not the only one that's had something very similar. So I wasn't the only person that had seen something like that. I don't know of anyone else who saw that night because, only I saw it. I don't know why only me, unless someone else did and they just didn't speak of it. So, but it was so obvious. You're like, well, how come no one else saw that? Why only I saw that? You know what I mean? So, but the thing is, probably someone did. I don't know them. So, so that confirmed it for me. And then after that, I started having similar things. Not as big as that, but I started having similar things that were tracking over the house. So it would be very similar experience that come through over the house. Only one night that I had one that I knew exactly that was meteor, no doubt in my mind. Just the way it went out west, and the way it was traveling, it had a sequence of debris or something behind it, and you could tell that. I went, no, that's a meteor. There's no doubt. It was the only one I knew that it was a meteor and not anything else. So from that day, I started having unusual, more physical experiences. So what's happened is that experience that evening started to open me up. That's what it's done. It's opened up and extended my abilities so that I feel safer having them. I'm not afraid. I'm not disbelieving anymore. I'm not going on there's no doubt. So they started bringing things to me that created no doubt whatsoever. And like again, I'm telling you, I'm a realist. I don't make shit up. I would not say I saw a ship over the ocean if it wasn't there. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to fool myself. I want to really know that this is real. This stuff is real because I'm teaching it. So therefore, as I've said to them, if I'm going to teach it, I've got to live it. I've got to live the reality of it. I can't just say and not know. You know what I mean? I'm that type of person. If it's If I'm going to teach you something, or I'm going to guide you through, or give you some sort of information or knowledge, I want to know that it's true. All right, that's just the way I am. So after that, me and my husband, we were watching meteor showers because it had all those lemonids or whatever meteor showers and things gone the last couple of years. Geminids, some fucking thing. Excuse my language, but coming through. So we watched a lot of that. Never saw much. And then one evening we went. It was like this has all been going on the last year and a half actually. So it's been less than 2 years that it really started to ramp up for us. So we were out one evening and it was like 1 a.m. and we decided we are going to get up and see if there's anything going on out there because of what we've been experiencing. Like two half asleep fools, we get up, we're like, oh, what time is it? 1 o'clock. Damn it, they better be doing something. We go out there, nothing's happening. We're laying out on the veranda, lying on the chairs, just laughing like kids. And my husband, by the way. And with the dog's like, what are you doing up at 1 a.m.? And we're like, just about to go to bed and go, no, well, nothing's really happening. So let's go to bed, stuff it. So we get up and Rob says to me, what's that? And I said, what's what? So we're looking out over the ocean, and this is like probably by 2 a.m. by now because I've been out there a while. We're looking out the ocean, and here's this bright light, not like I saw, a little different, not as big, this bright light, and we both go, oh, it's got to be a helicopter. But there was no aircraft lights on it, right? So when it's an aircraft, when it's a plane, it's a helicopter. It's very obvious, and you can hear it as well. All these experiences I had, there was no sound in these. It was dead silent. Everything was dead quiet outside. And for my husband to see something, he's not the sort of person who goes looking. He is spiritual, but he's retired spiritual, I call him, so he doesn't go chasing nothing. He's not interested in seeing if there's UFOs. I got him up at 1 o'clock because he could. So I'm like, come on, you come with me just in case. Oh, right, then he goes. So he's out there with non-believing. Not really. He is interested. He does love watching stuff on YouTube and things like that, but that's a little different. It's different to watching than really believing. So he was a little bit of a, I believe, but I don't believe because I've never seen it. That sort of person. But open because he's an empath and he's an intuitive. So different, And he's pointing out to this object and we could see it, and it was bright and had different like color light rays around it. So definitely wasn't an aircraft because the way it looked, it was too low in the sky again. So it was in a certain area in the sky. And for us to look at things at a distance, it's hard to tell where in the sky that is. It's just an obvious it's there. You know what I mean? And it was spinning and it was moving. And it was quite slow. So it was over the water. And we're trying to figure out one, again, is it just a helicopter? Or are we just making shit up? And we realized because we're right on the water, I'm pretty much the highway here is only small highway here, and then there's the water. So where I live, I can see the water. So it's right there, right? And we're like, what is that? And then it changed direction, then it went up, and then it came back down to the water again. And we're like, that's spinning. What is that? And it was dead quiet and you couldn't hear a damn noise. There was no sound coming out of it. Now, you think something that size that's moving like that, you would hear something. There was no noise, no sound. And then, so we just watched it basically, and it headed over to the hills. So I don't know what it was doing, what it was looking for, what it was searching for. There was nothing else coming out of it. So there was no beams down to the water, none of that sort of stuff that other people talk about. It was tracking over the ocean. And we were like, why would it be tracking over the ocean? Now, this thing I wouldn't say was massive. It wasn't huge. It was probably the size of, God, I don't know, not a motor car. It was a bit bigger than a motor car. So, I don't even know how you describe the size. So, a handful of vehicles. It was probably the size of four-wheel drives stuck together. I don't know. It was kind of that size from a distance. And it ended up, eventually it headed to the hills and then it disappeared. We're like, where did that go? You can't go through the hill. You've got to go up and over because it's quite a tall. We're not mountainous here, but we're very hilly because we're coastal. So it's like islands and hills. And it didn't go through the mountain or hill. And like, or did it go over? Did we just not see it? Did it go over the hill and we missed it? I don't know. So we weren't sure. So we both looked at each other and went, yeah, okay, that was unexplainable. So that was my second physical visit of a ship. And that was it. That's all it did. Nothing extravagant, nothing wow. It just was tracking and it left. And we still don't know really to this day what it was, what type, who, what, just in general. So we just sort of went, okay, we've had an experience, don't know what to do with it. So then not long after that again, me and my husband were asleep. This is like a few months, say 4, 5, 6 months later. We're asleep, out cold, nice night, air conditioning on, just cruising, and this mass explosion, like it was a noise beyond a noise. It was so loud. The house shook. The noise was unexplainable. Now, for those that don't know, twice me and my husband experienced our house being hit by lightning. The second time, which happened in between all this, by the way, all these experiences, our house got hit by lightning. We had no power for 5 days. It completely singed the place. We lost everything. So lucky for us in Australia, we have a trip switch, but it still went through the house. Actually, it hit my laptop for some reason, which is unusual because it should have shut that. The house should have shut it off. The trip switch went through the house, out the other side. Nearly burnt the house down, they reckon. Lucky we're brick, that saved us from a fire, but it completely melted everything on the other side of the house. You had to see that to believe it. So this night was nothing like that. There was no weather, there was no lightning, there was nothing outside that you could say, oh, it must have been lightning. It was so loud that I don't know if anyone knows the feeling of being woken up by a smoke alarm where it's like so sudden and so fast. You're like, God, you lose your breath. It was like that. It woke us up from a dead sleep. We were both out cold. And as we woke, the noise was still happening. So we were awake, talking to each other, and the house vibrated. And we're like, first thing we thought, oh God, is someone trying to break into the house? Which, you don't know what's going on. So we could still hear a little bit of again, and we're like, no, something's going on. So the first thing we thought after all that, when we finally were conscious enough, oh God, don't tell me there's been a car accident and they've hit a pole outside or they've hit the house or something like that. Stuff happens. So my husband ran downstairs, half dressed, and went looking to see if it was a car accident because it had to be something that hit the house, right? For the house to vibrate and to make such a noise. It was so loud, it was piercing. It was like a boom, Okay, so I'm good at noises, aren't I? So he goes outside with his torch, half dressed, thinking, "Oh God, there's a car accident. I better go now. Ring the ambos, police, whatever." He gets outside. I've gone out the back. He said, "Can you check at the back, make sure nothing's going on, something hasn't been broken, smashed." Okay, I'll do that. So he's out the front. I'm out the back. Nothing. He goes out the front. Nothing. So he walks around the whole house with me to make sure we're safe. Checks every entry. Nothing. Nothing's been touched. And we're like, how could it be that much noise and no one noticed? So the neighbour across the road, we realised, was in his car. They're only young, so they go out and they're musicians, so they go out to late hours of the night. And this is like, midnight or 1 o'clock. And they come home late. They're only young, living their best life. Well, he was in when it happened. And Rob went over and said to him, "Oh, here you go, mate. How was your night? Yeah, good. All the usual jazz. Did you just feel and hear that? What happened? Because we thought maybe it's an earthquake." And the young guy said, "I've been out here for like 10, 15 minutes on my phone, unpacking my music gear with my friends. We've been out here a while. Why?" He said, "Didn't you hear that?" He said, "Hear what?" And Rob's like, "What do you mean what?" Because they're like, "What are you doing out here in your jammies?" And and they said, "Are you all right? Do you need anything?" And he said, "No, I'm fine." "But you didn't hear that?" "I thought there was a car accident or something. Didn't you hear the big bang and all that stuff?" And they're like, "Been out here for ages, never heard nothing." So we're like, "Hang on a minute." didn't think of anything, didn't know what to think really. And when Rob came inside, I was watching at the front while he was talking to, I can't remember his name, young gentleman across the road. I was out the front while he was talking to him. And in that moment, I realized, now, I've got 2 chihuahuas. They're so well behaved. They're beautiful. They're very loving. They're very, very beautiful like that. But the chihuahuas will bark at a flea fart, basically, right? They were still asleep in bed. They hadn't woken. They didn't wake up to the disturbance. They didn't bark. They didn't move. Now, my dogs move for everything. I got one little dog that follows me everywhere. I've only got to think of moving and she follows. She's that type of dog. We realized the dogs hadn't moved. They were still in bed asleep. And we're like, so they didn't hear it. And when I was sitting at the veranda, I realized that it was dead quiet. Now, we have bats in the tree, we have birds in the tree. Bats are renowned for, birds, they'll get a fright from any little noise. We realized the bats were asleep. The birds were asleep. It was dead quiet. Actually, it was unusually quiet that night out there when I went out, deadly quiet. Not one animal had reacted to that noise. And you know that animals react to everything, especially chihuahuas. They are known for it. They will bark at, a moth flew past. They're like that. And we looked at each other and went, no animals were disturbed. You can't have an explosion noise like that or a boom, or it was actually more than a boom. It was a huge noise of some sort. I don't know the words for it. A noise like that everything would fly out of the tree. The dogs would bark because they would have got a fright. The dogs didn't get a fright. We got a fright out of our sleep. We jumped out of our skin, basically, that sort of thing. Like, oh my God, what the hell? Felt the vibration, felt the house rattle. First thought lightning, car accident, what the hell? All break-in, all that jazz. We realised nobody had heard it but us. So we were standing on the veranda, we're looking out and going, what the heck was that? So we asked the neighbours, and like I said, the young people across the road, they're always up all hours of the night, light sleepers. Our neighbours both sides, they heard nothing. They went, no, nothing happened last night, did it? You probably think we're crazy, right? You didn't get woken up by that? No. It was like an explosion. Honestly, it sounded a little bit like a bomb had gone off. That's what it reminded me of. No, nothing. And we're like, do you think we've been somewhere? Do you think perhaps we had a ship? A big one. Sorry, I thought I just saw. I'm a channel, so I see things. I thought someone just walked past. They probably did run past, probably hearing me talking. Do you think we may have gone somewhere and we've broken the sound barrier coming back? Either we've been taken, we've had an experience that we don't remember, and then as we've come back in, we've either heard us or the ship break the sound barrier. Because the noise reminded me of breaking the sound barrier. So a bit like a meteor would do, a big meteor if it hit the bloody earth, the noise. It was like that. It was huge. There was nothing in the sky that night. There was no flash. There was nothing. And like I said, we asked the young guys, they were outside the whole time, even before we even got up. And we asked them, did you see anything? Was there anything in the sky? Was there a flash? And they said, no, nothing. They thought, like, silly old farts, no? So that was the next big physical experience I had. And because I work in this field, I've had so many experiences. I know in my gut that was a ship, because it's either returned us or it's come through, or we've heard it leaving and it's broken the sound barrier. And we're the only ones that were experiencing it. So my extraterrestrial UFO contacts are getting more and more physical, real, which blows your mind a little bit, because unless you've been someone who's having it or have had it, how can you explain it to other people? How can you let other people know what it really feels like, unless you've had it yourself personally? It's not that easy, you know what I mean? And that's why I haven't shared a lot of it, because how do you share that? Not everyone's going to believe me, and they don't actually have to. That's the beauty of it. I'm not here to enforce a belief. I'm not here to prove anything other than it's real. You know what? I'm not enforcing my will on anyone. So after all this, we've seen some odd things in the sky. We started going out late at night and sitting under the stars, especially in winter. Winter's nicer because you don't get eaten by mozzies. And we started watching for things in the sky because we realized that there's things happening here for us and we're getting contacted. So we've only seen 1 or 2 unusual movements that weren't satellites that we couldn't explain, mainly because of the direction they took. Don't know. I have seen something very similar. I used to work on the Murray River, for those who know the Murray River, on the paddle steamers. And one night out there, and this is a group of us got to experience this, we got stuck because the Murray River has a we didn't have much rain during that season in Victoria. So the river was low, and we got to an area it was so low that the boat got stuck a little bit. So we're on a paddle steamer, a bit like the Mississippi paddle steamers. It looks a bit like that, big one. And it's a 2-week journey, so we got stuck, and we are literally in the middle of Australia in, as I call it, arsehole universe. There's nothing for hundreds and hundreds of miles, not even farmers, cattle properties, nothing. You know, I mean, we're that isolated. And so we were sitting up on the ship that night, and we looked out, and we'd just finished. It was about midnight, and you worked hard on there. So you worked, you know, you did entertaining, you did, you know, pantomimes and things like that, singing, whatever. And so you were up till really late normally entertaining passengers. And so we went out to get a breath of fresh air to go to bed. We were all so tired. And there was about half a dozen to 8 of us, and a couple left, went to bed, and the rest of us sat there, so about half a dozen. And we looked up and we could see these bright lights everywhere, and we thought they're just stars. They're just stars or satellites. But they started, there was a ton of them. Like, I'm not talking 1 or 2. There was like, God, I can't even remember. There were so many. You know, there could have been 20. There was just so many of them. And we saw these really unusual lights. And for those that don't know, when you get away from the city and you're out in the middle of Australia, the sky is bright as bright can be. It's so clear. It's piercing black and then bright, a bit like my picture behind me, so clear. So we were experiencing and watching these UFOs skipping around the skies fast, like multiple directions, over and over, like they were just going everywhere together. I don't know what they're up to. Maybe they're having fun, but they were zipping through the sky everywhere. And I was not alone that night when I saw that. So I had a group of people with me who witnessed it as well, and we were like, "Did you see what I just saw?" And it went on for that long that night. It was out there for that long, that experience, that we just gave up, went to bed, and then we're like, "Oh well, obviously they're going to be there all night," and we just accepted that and went to bed. So I've had other experiences that I can't explain. So what's happening for me now is, because I'm more open and more aware of it, and now that they're making contact physically more often, I'm having clearer and more realistic experiences. And I've had many races, mostly Pleiadian and Arcturian. I've had the odd Sirian, but mostly at the moment it's Arcturians, which is very similar to the photo in the corner I've got up there. Kind of like that. That's kind of depends on who they are. If they're the councils of light, it's a little different, but and the collective of Arcturians a little different. But the ones that are having contact with me are the elders, and they are very a piercing, most beautiful blue. I wish I could describe what blue that is, because it's so beautiful and so radiant, and their skin is so beautiful, so soft, so pure, but it's a blue color, very beautiful blue. And I'm definitely communicating with either the elders and the councils, and different to the collective, because they don't have. Some people have seen Arcturians with fear here and blue skin and things like that. These are a little similar, but not quite. And their faces are very smooth and blue, and the beautiful big eyes and slighted ears, and they have very high cheekbones, and they're so, to be honest, they're so beautiful looking. It blows your mind how gorgeous they really are, how divine looking and beautiful their energy is, but how beautiful they are. So at the moment, my main contact, besides all the others, the most physical contact I'm having at the moment is Arcturians, and that's what they're called. So my microphone's playing up. That I will sometimes have technological interference when they hear me talking, because they'll come in. And so what's happening with me, the Arcturians who came last year, about early last year it started, I did have a visit from a female Arcturian. She came, gosh, 3.5 something years ago, maybe now. I lose track of time. So I know it was a while back. I had this woman, female, come in. She woke me. Sorry. I've just said to them, can you tone it down a bit because you're going to interfere in my microphone. They bring in a reverberation with their energy, so the energy can affect systems. My system will start buzzing. You'll hear it buzzing. So I had her visit, and she was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in my life. Her energy was so peaceful and so loving. It was mind-blowing. And she only came in for a short second. She came in, she looked at me, and we made contact, and then she left. So it was almost like she was coming to see if I was ready. Can I handle seeing her? Am I going to freak out? Am I going to be afraid? So they were kind of just seeing where I'm at in my evolution of what I can handle as part of why I'm here. So she was the first, and then I had a gap. They didn't come, and I had other species coming in, mostly Pleiadians and a couple of others. So I've kind of had a bit of contact with everybody. And then, so I had a gap, and then last year, probably about, oh gosh, I'm trying to think, probably halfway through the year, mainly, something like that, might even be a little bit longer, I had Arcturians come in. I had a male Arcturian come in. I felt he may not have been on his own, but I only saw him, but I had a feeling there was others. And he came in, and I was in a, sorry, that'll be them. Sometimes they come over in a ship, or sometimes they come in physically, and you can hear the clicking and the, I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear it. So he came in, and this time I was asleep and just normal night, wasn't thinking of anything, wasn't thinking of contact, nothing, just normal night because I needed some rest. I've been doing a bit to help people, so I've been busy privately and a bit of mission work, so I was very tired and I just want to go to sleep. And I remember they woke me middle of the night. But I think it was around about midnight or something, or just before. It was a little earlier than usual, and he came in. He presented himself, and he said to me, he did give me a name. He called himself Arik, and it was spelt unusually. So I haven't quite got the spelling right, but I know the sound is right. And he pulled me out of a dream, or not a dream, but he pulled me out of sleep and put me into a place that was like an OBE. So again, out of the body. So he took me out of the body in a realistic state, and he wanted to present himself that I am Arik. I am here for your evolution, your purpose, your mission to prepare you for the future, and we are going to be working with you. I'm like, okay. And he came in. I'll try and give you the quickest version because there was so much that happened that I don't want to do bore you for another hour. But he came in, and in that moment, they are very technological as well and very advanced in that aspect. And the first thing he did was he cleared out my neurological system in my mind to prepare me for his energy, because their energy is, not only is it so loving, but it's such a high frequency of light that I always compare it to, because I'm getting a little bit of it now off them, it's like having too much sugar and getting the sugar rush. I always call it as the hype like that sometimes. So we've got to learn to bring that into our heart system and slow ourselves down to be able to receive it. So he explained to me that, and this time he wasn't using words, it was just through the body. They quite often speak through my body. So he was working through my neurological system. He was going through my synapses. He was going through my nervous system. He was running through the whole body to prepare my energy so that he could communicate, because he knew that I had to raise that frequency to match him and be able to really to be able to handle his vibration through my body because of where they are. But he was here physically. I could see him. I could pretty much reach out and touch him. It was that real. And so he said to me, it won't take long, just give me a moment. So he was running through. He did, again, my nervous system. He did my psyche, my brain, and so that I could receive them and receive information easier. So I went, okay, so I let that happen. I feel at one point they may have taken me on ship for it, but I'm not sure about that. So I can't make that up and say I did. I'm not sure. But it felt like I'd gone somewhere. So then he did all that, and then he came to me, emerged a little, and I could, I was him in that moment, so I could feel his voice. Sorry, I got my phone on. I could feel his voice through my body like someone had stuck a radio inside me. I could feel the vibration, so the reverberation of his voice, what he was communicating. I could hear him as loud as I'm hearing myself today, and he was literally talking inside me. So he was running it through my neurological system, his frequency, so that I could communicate and be, sorry, sometimes they're very strong and make me a bit dizzy. So he could communicate with me. And he wanted me to understand. He said to me, this is part of what we're going to do with you for 6 months. So when he came in, by the time I was at this stage, it was probably, when I had that one really, it was probably around about September, October, to be honest. So it was a bit later. But this is all part of the same experience, but just in different places, different time frames. And he wanted me to feel them. He wanted me to know what they feel like. He wanted me to know who they are. I didn't get a lot of knowledge as in what's their planet and all that sort of jazz. They didn't feel I needed to at that time. They just wanted me to know them personally. So he was talking about for 6 months I'm under a training regime with them, where they're going to communicate more physical and more within, so that it's not telepathy I'm getting from them. I'm not talking to them like when you sometimes do your channeling or you do a reading and you get information. You can either it runs through, you can hear it in telepathy, or you get a feeling and things like that. This is purely physical contact. I'm talking as in they are here. And so he placed me into an Arcturian frequency. So I was Arcturian in that moment. And so I became Arcturian. And they then took me away from here, took me out into the universe itself. I saw universe after universe, basically. I saw creation itself. I saw everything. And they showed me the grid system. They showed me the little boxes. They showed me constructs, lots of little things like that. So things that are unusual that we don't see when we look out at the sky. So I traveled a very long way with him. And he wanted me, he said, this stage at the moment is where we're going to get you to feel the universe. And I said, and what do you mean feel the universe, I went like when I channeled that, and he said, no, deeper. You're going to feel what we feel. You're going to feel who we are. You're going to feel our knowledge, our evolution, and how our love, because their love is deep and intense. Their love with the universe and divinity or source, God, whatever you want to call it, is pretty strong. And he wanted me to experience that. He said, I want you to be us. This is who we are. This is how we evolved. And this is how we're going to help you to understand that. So in that moment, he took me out there and everything went dead quiet. I don't know about if anyone understands. Those that do understand know that when the further you go and the further your connection heading back to source, whatever you want to call it, the further you go out there, it's extremely quiet and it's very loving. So they placed me into a place that was probably the deepest love. I've had many experiences because I've been to a lot of these places anyway, and the different realms and different dimensions, etc., different races. The love is amazing, but they wanted me to feel the real, true love of what they know is out and what they're connected to. And it literally sat me on my butt. The love was ginormous. It's like, again, it's a feeling. You can't even give a right word for it. But I become peaceful, like deeply peaceful beyond Buddhist monk stage. Like I literally was in the middle of time. I didn't exist at that moment. I was just with them, and my human form wasn't even present. And they ran it all through me, and they said that we wanted you to truly feel what connection feels like. Not only connection to us of who we are, but connection to all things. So I got to experience the vastness of God, source, creator of all things, of what that really feels like. And if anyone could wake up and remember all that, they would never ever have another worry in their life. But we are human and we have emotions and we have moments. So, and they showed me like some geometry, they showed me just different areas out there, different places. And it was just, I was having an experience basically. And then he tuned me in more deeper. And he said to me that we will be communicating through you. And I said, no, don't you mean to me? And he said, no, through you. You will feel us. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? I had a fair idea, but I like to ask. I'm always asking questions. I'm that person. I just don't take things for granted and go, okay. I go, what does that mean? What's that for? Who are you? Why? Because I think with any of this sort of stuff, you need to make sure you're talking to what you think you're talking to, because you can be very fooled very easily out there. When you go out there, you're amongst all things, all polarities, all creation. So therefore, you are vulnerable. So I know enough now to know that I double check everything, triple check sometimes. And what their consciousness is and who they are and what they're capable of and where they've evolved to is, if we can get partly there, we're going to do really well. We really are. And I believe that we are working our way towards that, because that's what they showed me. They showed me the love that we're going to evolve into. They showed me the knowledge and the vastness of what we can become and learn. But his role at the moment, and he may not be here long, like the female that came first, they quite often will send guides or comers themselves to prepare you for those that are actually coming. So these might be just as they call themselves, the preparation team to prepare me to accept more. So after that, what's been happening for me, so in the last month, 2 months maybe, they've been coming regular, like all the time. You know, you'd say once or twice a week, like regular. And they've been communicating, and they haven't given me anything major yet, except for the feeling of evolution. So they got me to feel what evolution's going to feel like, and it's pretty awesome, I must say. Gave me great faith and hope in all things. And so now what they're doing is they're preparing my body to speak through me. And when I mean through me, I don't mean I'm picking up a message. Oh, Spirit's saying this, I think I'm getting this. It's beyond that. They are talking through my body. So when he speaks to me and when he comes, and he hasn't been this week yet, so I must need a rest. He hasn't been the last few days. So when he comes through and he speaks to me, I can feel the vibration of my body like a radio signal. I can feel the frequency running through every cell in my body. It's loud, by the way. And I can hear his voice, and it's loud. So it's like someone sitting in front of you with a microphone talking away inside you, loud and clear. And again, they talked about 6 months of preparation. So they're preparing me for the future. They're preparing me for them, obviously, but they're also preparing me for what I'm here for, to help humanity and the mission work that I'm here to do, and whatever else that will be. So part of the work I'm already doing, they're obviously going to increase my why I'm here, basically. And I said to him, so this kind of reminds me a little bit of, is it Bashar and people like that, where you speak through them. So they're not hearing you, they are you. So you are literally, you and them are one, and you speak, and literally all we are your voice. So, and he's like, he's not giving me everything straight away, but he's like, we are preparing you. And he just keeps saying, we are preparing you. And he's very polite about it. And he's a little bit, I think his role is only preparation. So he's not allowed to give anything else other than that. But I do know that they are changing me, and they are showing me that physical contact, UFO, extraterrestrial, star races, star people, which I call them, they are real. And as he said, you will be a spokesperson for what's to come. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Because Mirand's a bit shy. I don't mind doing this sort of thing in my work, but yeah, it's a big ask to go further. I'm not saying that's what's going to be, but I'm just like, what's going on here? And he said, we are preparing you. We are preparing you. We are preparing you. And that's all he will damn well share with me. So I'm like, damn it. I want to know more. All at the moment is this energetic preparation. And we will see where this goes. So my connection with extraterrestrials is increasing. If you can sort of go, can it get any more? Because I've had so much. And they're like, oh yes, this is only the beginning. But they want me and people like me and people like you who have had very unusual experiences, whether it's spiritual or non-spiritual, does not matter. If you've had a UFO visit or you've had a being come and have a chat to you in your backyard or in the forest, wherever that may be, or you've had it like I've had it, where you've had deeper experiences and other things. We are the proof of what truly exists, who we are, what we're connected to, and where a lot of us come from. We are these people. We are these beings. You know what I mean? So they want people like myself and you as well, others, to speak, to prove that they exist, that extraterrestrials, UFOs, ships, beings, whether they're of the light or of the other polarity, that all that is true. It is real and it really does exist. And because I said to them, see, don't do what Marantha did. And Marantha went, well, I want to know everything and I want to go hard and fast and I want to know the truth. That's what I said. I said, I've been doing this long enough now. I need to go further. I want to have your existence and your experience in real time. So that's what they're doing. They've answered my call. Even though I said I've been working with all of them for so long, but this is the next step. This is the next level. This is physical, real contact. Now they have given me some ideals, not fully in depth. I think if they gave me that in depth, I'd have to think about whether I'd share it. If they tell me things, then obviously I'm supposed to. But at the moment, they've mentioned 2027 keeps coming up as something. But I asked them about, are they ever, because they're not actually allowed to interfere per se. They actually you have to ask. Even when you do this sort of stuff and you have the experience I'm having, you've got to ask them. You've asked them to come. They won't interfere. It's unethical for them to do so. So for the planet itself, they are here assisting. They are guiding. They use a lot of vessels and ships that are out there on all levels. So you're getting these types. You're getting other races. You're getting highly evolved celestial crystalline type vessels and ships that are also there out in the multiverse and out around us, that are here looking after our airspace, because there's a lot of polarity, a lot of stuff going on out there, and they are here to assist that and to help us, not really to blow ourselves up, basically, to help us to get through. And I've also had contact with the inner earth, which I never believed a few years ago. I've got to be honest, hand on heart, I thought it was all bullshit. I call bullshit on a lot of things, even though I wasn't amongst it all. But I've actually realised now that even the inner earth people, I've had visitations from them. And I've had from the Teleucians, so Telos Teleucians, I've had the others as well, that they're real. And because I have a love for Mount Shasta, because I know that's what's going on there. And they've shown me lots of things. So they've told me a few things. They've shown me things about the Antarctica. So they've shown me the Antarctica, the frozen earth. There's a few things out there and goes beyond there. I don't know a lot about that. Only little bits they've shown me. They've also mentioned the only thing they have mentioned is that they are preparing a lot of us for what is to come, so that when we do get to that point where our hearts and our minds are open enough, that if they make some sort of presence, that we are more comfortable. So that's like we're all being prepared in a way to assist us so that we can evolve and find a greater love for this planet and further. So they've mentioned to me 2032, and the reason they mentioned that's because I said to them, what's coming at the moment? And they said there will be a mass event that is unmistakable, and it's not false informational false light. It's not government driven, and I won't say too much, I want to get shut down. But all that stuff, there is a lot of that going on right now. So all these UAPs and all that sort of jazz, it's an illusion that's coming from somewhere that it's not what you think, right? It is a distraction. They've told me that a lot of what's going on at the moment is a distraction from all that stuff. Mostly, not only as humanity, but a lot of spiritual people have been distracted by it. It's a chaotic distraction to turn us away from what they are trying to do, the ones that we won't speak of, and the governments and all that, and what they're up to. It's a distraction. So don't be distracted by a lot of that stuff you're seeing on TikTok, YouTube, and like jazz. It's not for us. That is got nothing to do with what I'm talking about or what's coming and what they're speaking about. They're telling me it's nefarious, it's a distraction, and it's a lie, and not to allow all this chaotic nature and behavior and external behavior to distract you. Don't let it take you into fear, into sensationalism, etc., and things like that. So people like myself are not allowed to connect to all that. Simple as that. Because we're here to unchaotic the world, not create chaos. All right, yeah, sorry, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's affecting my technology. I can hear it. Hang on a minute. Sometimes, honestly, if a ship comes over or something like that, I'll get interference. So if this plays up, forgive me. I can hear them coming in. Sometimes I'll actually hear them through my earphones. I can hear their voice. So 2032, they have mentioned a mass sighting event that will be unmistakable and will be seen by many. So they have a plan of some sort to soften the impact, to soften the belief system, so that people like myself and extraterrestrials, the good ones, hopefully, I'm sure there's God knows what else is going to happen before that, but the ones that are here to help us with good hearts, that they will be making some sort of event. So whether it's exactly 2032, I don't know, but that's what they told me. That 2032 is a mass shift in the consciousness of humanity. Now, whether it's a grand shift, doubt it, because we are slow to take things on. Let's be honest; it could take 1,000 years. But I do know there's things going on at the moment. There's a great heart shift, a love that's coming through into the planet to help us. You just got to be open to it, open your heart, and say yes, and allow that peace within you, so that you're not distracted by the other. And I said, why are you doing that? And they said, well, I've heard other people say too, I can't mention the name on here because I don't have his permission, because I don't know him personally, but he's talked about an angelic connection. Excuse me, I need water. I've been talking all day nonstop. He thinks it may come in an angelic form, like an angel or something like that, something that humanity is more comfortable with. So a lot of these star beings are angelic or celestial, and it wouldn't surprise if they come in a persona that's easier for us to handle and take on and that. Excuse me. I just about had enough today. I think I was talking myself silly. So that's all they've told me. Because, like I said, I'm under preparation. They've shared there's been other things that they have shared over time which have been 100% correct. I chose not to share, but they did happen because I didn't want to create mass fear. One of the things I did was told of 8 months before it happened was the C word that ran through the planet, and something else that was mentioned recently that is more than likely around somewhere. I don't share a lot of that stuff because I don't think it's necessary. There's a lot of people talking about so much sensationalism, so much fear mongering and all this stuff going. There's enough people doing that. They don't need Marantha to do it too. I've said to them, look, thank you for showing me things. That's obvious that that's possible. But I'd rather know that good stuff. I'd rather know good impact, because we need that right now. We need something that's not fear mongering, because to be honest, I've seen a lot of people's channelings, a lot of their information is very fear driven, and to be honest, I've not seen any of it happen. I've not seen a lot of it come true at all. There's been a few here and there, little things that people have been right about, but I've got to be honest, a lot of the stuff I'm seeing, even on YouTube, people channeling, is bullshit. It has not happened. It didn't happen, and there's no evidence that of it whatsoever. So I've only been told 2 things in the last few years. One has happened, that was the C word, which we can't say on here, and that was an impact for sure. But at the time, I didn't know. I knew it was something like that. I just didn't know that word or what that meant. I didn't hear that word. They just, with me, what they do is they will give me information, they will talk, or they will give me the feeling or then show me the pictures. So I'm very pictorial, so I'll see images, just like watching me. So it's like watching TV. So for that one, they showed me, I said to them when, and they said soon. They did tell me around the time it happened, actually, around that Christmas time. So I got the feeling. I was checking every so often. I'll check what's the year ahead. Is there anything I'm going to get? And this overwhelming feeling came over me that I've never had ever in my channelings, ever, never, not even once. And I had this overwhelming, oh my God, no feeling. And my husband said to me, because my husband will sit with me when I get information so that, because I don't always remember it straight away, so he can let me know what's going on in case I can't remember when I come out. And he said to me, what kind of oh no? And I said, it's an oh no worldwide. And I said, I don't like what I'm feeling. It's bigger than I've never felt this on this scale ever in my life. So they were correct about that. And then there's been a few other things in the last few months that they are bringing in. I haven't got the full picture yet. I haven't got all the information, so I can't share it unless I know for sure. I'm not the person that's going to give you knowledge or information just for the sake of it. I've said to them, well, you're going to have to give me a better understanding and more information if that's the case. And then if you know what, if it's not nice, I'm like, what's the point of that? What's the point of even sharing that? Because why put people into extreme fear if it's not necessary? And a lot of people might disagree and go, well, we need to know. If you're hearing something, you should tell us. And go, yeah, only to a point. My ego won't allow me to carry on like that. I can tell you now, I don't have that ego. I don't have that only I know and I have to say and all that jazz. I don't do that. I'm very down to earth. And I've said there's going to be a lot of things probably that'll go on this earth that have always gone on. We've seen multitudes of changes on this planet, that are going to be obvious and are happening anyway. So I just said to him, whatever that is, it's probably not for me at the moment. And if there's anything out there that I think should be shared, I'll share it anyway. But at the moment, there's not enough information there for me to give anything, to be honest. The only information I've got that was similar to what I got with the C word is the 2032 event. So they're telling me at the moment this year is the beginning of a massive shift of consciousness, which other people that I know that are close to, friends with, are saying the same. They're feeling the same, getting the same information. There's a great heart expansion and a great change and a shift in consciousness for the next couple of years, starting this year, where people will realize that everything that they knew or everything that they felt they knew they want more from. So it's almost like an uprising of we no longer believe or accept that anymore. So it's in a good way, to bring good change or great change, a heart or a mind consciousness has to happen. You have to shift into not wanting to be there anymore. Don't want to be like that anymore. Don't believe that anymore. Don't want to be there. Don't agree with that. Will not allow that. You've got to get into that eventual mind state. And how they do that, well, we'll see. But they're telling me that between now and 2027, there's a consciousness shift in our people that want more, not only from themselves, but from the consciousness of humanity. Because we've been very self-destructive. And a lot of it's been under control and not been our fault. But we are also responsible for what we decide to carry on as and be. So there's times of change, all right? So that's Manfi's experience. That's long enough. I'll be here forever. That's some of the things I've had. I've had many, many things. You couldn't put it into recording. It's too much, too long. Just know that my experiences are real. They're physical. They have truly happened to me. Like I said, I'm not the person to make shit up. So I want you to know that if you're that person as well, that I see you and I understand what you've experienced, that it's real, and not to feel alone and not to feel burdened by it, even if it hasn't been a pleasant experience. Um, Reach out to people that have also had similar, because sometimes what it takes is sharing your experience with other people or talking to people that will understand you. It helps to heal the process. So if you've had a polarity experience and it's been a bit undivine, um, sometimes just sharing it with other people and going, oh my gosh, yes, I believe you, is enough to help heal the process a little bit, if not completely. So if you're that person and you, depending on your story, I will be honest, like I said in the beginning, Facebook message me. Let me know if you've an ET or an extraterrestrial UFO contact person, or you're a channel, one who channels beings like this. And if I feel you're right for my podcast, and then we'll see. And maybe you would like to come and share your story with other people like I did. It is a big deal. It's a very vulnerable experience, because you're going to be sharing stuff that you may not have ever told anyone else like me. Only one or two people in my life ever knew, and I mean that of everybody. And it's not easy, because no matter what you experience, no matter who you are and what you go through, you're always going to have someone who's against, someone who doesn't believe you, people who will ridicule you. And you know what? That just shows who they are. That's not who you are. That shows the character of them. For someone to belittle someone, or harm or intentionally hurt verbally or emotionally or otherwise someone, just because they've had an experience you haven't, is very narcissistic and very malice. So don't worry about those keyboard warriors. They don't worry me. In fact, I'm the sort of person who'll trigger them. So I bring out what's within people, and that's just the way it is. That's part of my job. So most of the time, 99% of the time, in fact, 99.99999% of the time, I bring out the best in people. I trigger their self-worth, their divinity, and their love of themselves. I can pretty much change people's lives in one session. I can bring the love in that they have forgotten, that's all, and put them in a better track. And then also I can trigger people that might have some unhealed business, and that's on them. This is why I'm not a malice person, but I can sometimes do that because my energy is so strong, my light's so bright. You can read me, I don't care. Nothing there you haven't probably seen before. But I have a very bright, very strong energy. My divinity, my connection within is very strong, in my faith. And I'm not a religious person. I'm not even really spiritual per se. I call myself a divinity worker. So my connection to that, of all things, is very strong. It's very, very strong. So that causes either really, doesn't, responses. People that are unhealed and have never felt that kind of love, sometimes they push back on you. They push back because they're not used to that sort of feeling. They don't know what it is. It confuses them, and sometimes it makes them angry, because they'll have things within them that are not used to feeling love. So they'll fight it, and eventually hopefully they let that go and they heal it. So that is what it is, isn't it? So the only other thing I want to talk about really quickly is I am a facilitator for David Starr. So if you want to know who that is, go onto Facebook and have a look. He also has his own app, which is a spiritual app for spiritual people only, people like us, a safe place to go where you don't get ridiculed and you can be whoever you want to and show the world your wares and show people who you are, and share that out. There'll be groups that'll be built from that. So you can download that from Google or Apple. It's called Divine Ray, and I think it comes up as Divine Ray Inc. So if you want to know who he is, go and have a look at those things and find out who he is. And he is the creator of Full Embodiment. So this year we're up to Full Embodiment 3. I have been a participator in over a long period of time, and I'm going to facilitate his creation, which is his spiritual teachings and mentorship and scholarship, here in Australia. Now, it's called Full Embodiment 3 Australia, but it is open to the whole world, so you don't have to be in Australia to join me. You can come from anywhere. So whatever country you're from, you are more than welcome. So if you'd like to know more about that, if you're interested in evolving your consciousness, expanding your gifts and your abilities, having experiences like Marantha, traveling the universe, speaking to other races, and connecting basically with the divine within you, learning to love yourself, heal yourself, etc. Message me on Facebook and come and ask me. And what you do is I will send you a booking link, and you can come and spend 15 minutes to half an hour with me for free. It won't cost you anything. And don't come if you're don't take advantage of that. Only come if you're interested in doing the training or the scholarship. And it will bring you into your master aspects. So it'll bring you into connection of the highest aspects and the full capacity of what is available for you to who you can become. And eventually from that, you can go on and help other people. So you become a facilitator or teacher eventually for others, just like I'm doing. So Facebook Messenger, I will send you a Calendly booking link to book in, and you can decide your day and time to do that. My days will vary. So if there's a day during that week doesn't suit you, then come back and check again, or stop it, guys, or message me. Sorry, they're full on. Message me and I will let you know if I can adjust that time or day to suit you. Marantha does occasionally have a day off sometimes. So if you're interested, come and see me and we will channel your team. We will look to see who you are, what you're connected to, if you've got a mission here, and how joining Full Embodiment 3 Australia can work for you and help you. Also, again, I'll give you a pricing and an idea of how that works. So if you're interested, come and do that. Facebook message me and I'll reply to you. And I work privately, don't forget that. That is also through Calendly booking service. So again, Facebook message, let me know you're interested in coming and seeing me. I do just about everything. So a lot of my work at the moment is helping people to evolve, but I do it all. So you just want a basic reading, I can do that. If someone on the other side wants to talk to you, if I'm able to do that, they'll let me in. That's not my forte. I wouldn't say that's probably my best ability, but every so often they can come in quite clearly and there's no problem. So I'm pretty honest about that. If people say I'd like to contact their father, if they come in, fine. If they don't, I don't charge them. But I'm just letting you know that's not my number one ability. That's still something I'm learning. But everything else I do is a channel. So if you want to know your teams, you want to make contact with other races, you want to find out what your mission here is and your purpose of who you are and why you are here, healing you, upgrading you, bringing downloads and codes, divinity codes, all sorts of things. Awaken you, basically. I can do it all. Go onto my page. There's an intro in my bio and my about section. Go and have a read up of who I am, what I do. It's a brief idea because you can only write so much. And I'm capable of doing pretty much anything for you. So I've had the best of them come to me. I really have. I've had people like would consider far more advanced than me, really, and gifted, come in and get help from me and get unlocked and guided and evolved into their future. So if that's you, come and see me. If you just want to come for a general reading, come and see me. If you just want to know about something simple, come and see me. Or you just would like to know, who the hell are you? Who are you? Who do you work with? What are you really here for? Come and see me. I'm the one who will help you move forward in your evolution. That's part of my mission. I do many other things. So if you want to come see me privately, come and see me. But message me through Facebook. That's probably the easiest way to get me, is Facebook Messenger at the moment. What else? I think that's all. We do, every so often I do work with others and we do some channeling events. There's heaps of free stuff on my page, free meditations, free activations, free healings. I also love light language. I'm not a light language expert or linguist, but I have a passion for it. And for some reason, I'm able to unlock people's light language for them. So I love light language. That's one of the things I absolutely adore. The person that awakened and activated me was Rhea Loveguard. So if anybody wants to go and get activated, Rhea Loveguard, she's amazing, beautiful woman, heart of gold, and one session as part of her training, one session as part of her training, I was off and running my light language. And it's funny, Arcturians were the first that came in for me. So yeah, that was pretty amazing. I love light language. I also do singing and toning. I have an ancient tone. I also have an angelic language. Probably pretty much everything. I really do. I'm a bit lucky like that. So I can help you with that. I can help bring your light language out. But I do let people know I'm a pretty straight talker. I'm honest. I'm not an expert or a specialist. All right. I'm not like Ria. I'm not a teacher of light language. And um, I know enough to help you. But if you want to go further and you want to go deeper, well, then I'll send you to someone who does. All right. So, as I said, my ego is pretty good. I will admit if I can't. That's just who I am. Generally, I can pretty much do just about everything. So you're more than welcome. Come and see me. Come spend some time with me. I do charge privately. And then I also, like I said, I do channelings and workings with other people. And we quite often will go live. I have my bestie. We go live as often as we can when we're not busy. I'm not live as often as I used to be because I work so much privately and with other people and on mission work and things that I'm busy. So you'll just have to keep an eye out. Come friend request me on Facebook. You will see me there. Go and join Divine Ray. I'm on there as well. And yeah, that's probably the easiest way to get hold of me. And when we go live, it's 20 something dollars, no, 25 or $30 US. All my denomination is US dollars. Everything with me is comes through US based dollars. So keep an eye out for us. Friend request so that you get notified I'm live, and come and join us. And you'll get everything, not as in depth because we don't have time as you would privately, but you'll get a moment with myself and my bestie and another friend of mine who Michael Muir. You want to go and check his page out, Michael Muir. And my bestie is Caroline Thomas of Caroline's Energy Healing and Tarot Card Readings. Michael Muir is Soul Magic Collective, etc. He also sells crystals. And we do a lot of channeling together. So if you just want to come and experience me or my friends and you want to just get a little reading, most people will tell you that I'm pretty in depth. You'll get a fair bit out of me for that period of time, for that amount of money. And yeah, you get an opportunity to see who I am. So come and do that. Keep an eye out for us. We are live. We're pretty much live periodic. So it's in the moment of when we're free. So you have to just come and get a notification. So friend request. That's the only way you'll know. Yeah, so there you go. I'm out. So thank you very much for allowing me to express, to share with you that this stuff is real. It is a reality that's true. And physical contact from star people or ETs, UFOs, extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call it, is real. I am walking, living proof of that. And now they're preparing me for more. So I'm looking forward to the time that they will speak through more and they will prove more through me and through others that this is not a fantasy. We're not making it up. And it is the truth. It is real. It's who we are and it's who they are. And it really does happen. So, again, got a story? Come see me. Want a reading? Come see me. You want to evolve or you want to join Full Embodiment 3? Come see me. Message me. You want to see me live? Well, you got a friend request to be notified. And it is brave for those that speak up and share their experiences like I have. It is very, very brave. And if you wish to do that, message me and I'll put you on my podcast. Now, again, just know there's rules, okay? Not everyone. I've refused a very small handful of people because I felt their story, some of them, this story didn't feel real to me, didn't feel true. It felt as though there was an instability there. And some of the others there just wasn't enough in their story to be of interest. So your story has to have a bit of interest behind it that people will watch and are happy to listen to. So you need to be able to, one who can share and elaborate on their story. I will make it very easy for you. It's like sitting around having a cup of tea with someone or a coffee, and I will ask you questions. So if you're a bit nervous or you've not been in front of people before and you're terrified to do that, I'll make it really, really easy for you. I promise. I will not ask you anything you're not comfortable with. And that's why I'm screening people, because some people are just too afraid. They'll share their story, but they just won't come on because they're afraid of the ridicule. So I will look after you in that way. That won't happen, I promise. So, alrighty. So much love to you, and I hope to see you soon. And if I have any other information or anything that starts coming through again, like I said, I've had a few days off. So obviously they feel my physical body needs to integrate and run through the downloading and whatever they're doing. So nothing's happened for a while, probably since, what's today? It's Tuesday here, probably since last week. So I have a bit of a break. But if anything changes, anything new comes in, I will share it. If they want to speak eventually and they want to share, I will do that. I've just pretty much told them all that I'm open to whatever they're preparing me for. So, alrighty, my loves, I will go. That's long enough. And I might put this recording up first and put part 1 second. I don't know. Part 1's a little different. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but it was my experience. It was what really happened to me. And yeah, it just is what it is, right? So, all right. I love you. Bye.